Hey guys, I want to answer a question that I know you're asking, and that is, why haven't I made it yet? Why haven't I broke? Why aren't people showing up? Why are the streams not coming in? Why are the album sales not happening? Why is my merch not flying off the table? Like all that kind of stuff. Why is it not happening yet? There's a million reasons. And this purpose of this video is to just focus on one. And this is about sacrifice. So again, it's not the only reason, but this is a big one. This is a big one I see all the time, and it's sacrifice. So when you think about you being an artist, like let's step back, right? You think about, I'm a lawyer, okay? I went to college, and most people don't have to do this, and many people don't know this about me, but after college, I went to graduate school. After graduate school, I stopped in the middle of my program, and then I went to law school. And I went to law school, and then I passed the bar. Then I passed the bar, and I worked for a bit, and then hung my own shingle, okay? So there's a lot of steps. What did I have to do to get, I'm not talking about where I am today. That's a big conversation. But what did I have to do to get to be a lawyer? I had to go to college, right? I had to go to law school. And in order to go to college, I had to have decent grades. And in order to graduate college, I had to have decent grades and take the classes that were required. And then to get into law school, I had to take a test, score high enough on that test, the LSAT, to get into law school. I had to apply. I had to do well in law school. And then I had to sit for the bar exam. And I had to take the bar, and I had to pass that. So there's all these hurdles. But guess what is in all of that timeline? Sacrifice. You know, I had friends that were hanging out, partying, I'm in my 20s, like late teens and 20s, and people are partying. What am I doing? Now, I'm not saying I was studying all that time, but what I am saying is I had to sacrifice. I had to sacrifice, like, I got to focus on my education when friends were hanging out, or some friends were working, and some friends were making money. I had friends straight out of high school that were making like 60 grand, 70 grand. I mean, they were making like 80 and 100 grand, I think, within like 5 years of high school. Meanwhile, I'm broke. Like, I remember having a job at Radio Shack, if you even remember Radio Shack. That was in college, and I'm like trying to make ends meet, and I'm sacrificing. And why am I talking about me when this is about you? Because it's an analogy, right? I'm not trying to be silly, but this is the analogy for you. If you want to get to a destination, you have to sacrifice to get there. Now, as an indie artist, and me just saying that, you're sitting there thinking, Brock, how am I not sacrificing? I put in the work. I'm writing, like I'm staying up till 2 a.m, and I'm writing, and I'm practicing my craft, and I'm playing shows. I'm trying to find gigs. Like I got all this social media stuff I'm trying to do, and I hate social media. Like every artist like hates social media, right? Like all this kind of stuff. You're like, how am I not sacrificing? And what I mean is more the mental sacrifice, the decision that says, I will be a successful indie artist at all costs. What are you willing to give up to be a successful indie artist? See, because a lot of indie artists right now are like, I got to work 9 to 5, and then I do all this as sort of my side hustle, but my goal is to eventually blank, right? There's no complaint I have about that. The reality, I didn't grow up with a silver spoon. I grew up, we had government cheese, and we were on, the government programs and all that kind of stuff. Like, I know what it means to not have. So don't take this from some lawyer that sits in an ivory tower that doesn't understand what it means to suffer. I did not have any means when I was growing up. What I mean is that wherever you are in your life right now, in your process as an indie artist, what can you do to sacrifice for your dreams that you're not doing right now? And you might say, I'm doing everything possible. I got a kid, or I just have responsibilities. I got, a car payment, whatever. Maybe the question is, do you need the car? Like, I know, like in California, it's very difficult. Public transportation sucks, and it's hard to say, yeah, I could live without. But if you're in New York or a place like that, like Chicago, like public transportation means maybe I don't need a car. Or maybe I can move to a city that has better public transportation so I can get rid of my car payment. Or maybe I can just move closer to my job so I don't have to drive and I'll have more time. Like, there's all these decisions and questions that start to go through your head, but they all come back to sacrifice. And really, this is more of a question I'm imposing on you than it is telling you what to do. My question to you is, what are you willing to sacrifice so that you can be a successful independent artist? Are you willing to sacrifice money? Are you willing to eat cup of noodles and, hot dogs and whatever for 10 years if that's what it takes to get where you want to go? Are you willing to jump on a bus or maybe buy a bus and move out of your apartment and just live on the road, jumping gig to gig to gig? I know artists that do that. They literally live on the road. They don't even have a home. They stay with their parents or their family. And some of these are grown people. And that's just the sacrifice they're willing to make. Are you willing to play shows that only 10 people show up, but it's good experience? Are you willing to co-write and collaborate with people that you feel like, I want to be better than them, or I am better than them, but it's a good position for you to collaborate? Are you willing to quit your job and just chase what you have? Are you willing to move back in with your parents if they'll let you, because you moved out trying to be a big boss and now it's like, but I want to chase my dream and I can't do that if I have all these payments and these utility bills and all this kind of stuff? Can you go back in time in order to jump forward in time? These are the questions. And by the way, none of these are judgments. If you said, nope, I'm not willing to give any of it up, great. I can tell you right now, I'm a successful lawyer. I got a lot of side hustles, but I will not give up what I have as a lawyer and as a creator to do some of the things that I feel very passionate about. So I know what sacrifices I might need to make if I want to make that leap. I'm not willing to make certain sacrifices, and that's okay. That's okay for you. So this video is just meant to get you in the mindset and thinking, are there things that I could sacrifice to be successful independent artist? If you've already met that sort of quota and nope, there's nothing else, great. But if there are things in your life that are kind of keeping you from it, and maybe it's insecurity, maybe it's fear, maybe it's like, hey, I got a 9-to-5, but you can, move in with your sibling or your parents or whatever and make things work. But you're like, it's embarrassing, whatever. Who cares? This is your future. Who cares if you're embarrassed? Who cares? Kill your ego. I say this in so many different topics that I go over. Your ego will kill your future more than probably just about anything else other than drugs and alcohol, right? If you can kill your ego, you'll make decisions like, this is better for me, to save money, to drive some beater that barely makes it down the street because I don't have a car payment. My first car was $50, literally $50 to buy a Volkswagen Bug. It was broken down, dented, everything. I had to fix all that myself. So guess what? I learned how to fix cars in the process. That's how you adapt. That's how you sacrifice. But you know what? $50, right? As opposed to friends that had their parents co-sign and took on car loans, 18 years old with a car loan. That's insane. But my point is start to think about the things you're willing to sacrifice to be successful. It might actually answer the question of why you're not successful yet. But if you will have the patience to keep working hard, to keep making the hard decisions and keep pursuing your dreams, what I can guarantee you is that every time you do that, you are moving closer to that dream and more likely to get there. Meanwhile, everyone else is falling off. They're not going to get there. So like and subscribe if this was helpful for you. Share this with a friend, another indie artist or a writer or a producer or whoever, if you think it'd be helpful for them. But I want to help you and I want you to be in that mindset of I'm going to do this. I'm going to find ways to do this. And here's just another trick. Find things you can sacrifice and sacrifice them. Throw them out, get rid of them, cut the bait, cut the payments if you can to move yourself closer to your dreams. Go after that today.